What does it feel like to come home? Not to a place, but to yourself. To the work that called your name before the noise got loud. To the voice that still had something to say, even when it went quiet for a while. If you've been here before, welcome back. I've missed you. If you're finding us for the first time, I'm so glad you found your way here. Welcome to the Courageous Exchange. I'm Deb Carvel, coach, leader, author, and deeply emotional human. And today, I'm also someone who is beginning again. I've been away since September. And when this is one of the ways I connect, support, and show up for you, that's a long time. In that time, I launched my book, Dear Courage, and then life stepped in. Not all at once, but in quiet, undeniable ways. Appointments on the calendar, rooms I never expected to be sitting in, moments where everything slowed down, whether I was ready or not. I went through radiation therapy. I sat in waiting rooms, and I had to learn how to let people take care of me, which, if you know me, it's its own kind of courage. And here's what I want you to know about that time. It was hard. And in a way I still can't fully explain. It felt sacred. Because sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is not push through. It's to pause, to rest without guilt, to trust that the work will still be there when we find our way back. And here we are, back. Today we're going to talk about something I lived this past season and something I know you might be sitting with too. What does it mean to begin again? And what does courage look like when it's quiet? I have a confession to make. There was a moment sometime in the middle of all of it where I wondered if I'd lost it. My voice, my ideas, that thing that made me want to show up here. Not because anything was actually gone, but because I was so focused on surviving the season that I forgot I was allowed to be becoming in it. I want to tell you about a Friday. Day 5 of my radiation treatments, which if you've never been through means you're 5 days into something that is quietly, steadily asking everything of you, and you're just trying to get through the week. I was sitting in the waiting room, and then I heard it. A sound that didn't quite belong in the quiet. A gong, clear, loud, impossible to ignore. It moved through the room, through every chair, every person, like it was asking all of us to stop. And we did, every single one of us. And then we started clapping. In the corner of the waiting room, there's this gong. And when you finish your last treatment, when you're done, you get to choose to bang it, to mark it, to say, I made it through. And that sound rang out through the room. Strangers, every single one of us, carrying something, our own diagnosis, our own quiet fear, and still we all paused and applauded. Because we all knew what it took to get there. And then the doors opened wider and a family came in, 10 people, maybe more, spilling through with cake, hugging the nurses, laughing, crying, the good kind of tears. They were there to celebrate the person who had just rung the gong. And I just watched, because in a room that can feel very quiet, small, and very alone, suddenly there was all of this. All of these people saying without words, we are here. We see you. You didn't do this alone. And I sat with that for a long time afterward, because the patient didn't walk through the doors alone that day. They probably hadn't walked through any of those doors alone. There was a whole circle of people who had been with them the whole time. They had just let them in. That's the part that stayed with me, letting people in. How many of us are sitting in our own waiting rooms, whatever that looks like for you, quietly carrying something and telling everyone we're fine? How many of us have people who would show up with cake, who would clap for us without hesitation if we just let them know we needed it? The gong doesn't ring itself, and we were never meant to ring it alone. Some moments stay with you. This was one of mine. We spend so much time thinking we have to carry things alone. And I thought about a line from my book, Dear Courage, one I wrote before I knew I'd need it quite this much. Courage doesn't always look like bold leaps. Sometimes it looks like staying, resting, speaking softly, beginning again. I wrote that for someone else and then handed it back to me. Have you ever had that happen? You write something or say something or believe something for others, and then the universe says, okay, now do you actually mean it? Here's what I want to say today with heart and without apology. Pausing is not the same as quitting. Resting is not the same as giving up. And beginning again is one of the most underrated acts of leadership there is. Think about the people you admire most, the leaders, the creators, the humans who seem to move through life with a quiet kind of confidence. I can almost guarantee that they have begun again more than once, after loss, after failure, after illness, after change, after a season where life said stop, and they listened. In my book, Dear Courage, I talk about a path from remembering to reckoning to reclaiming to becoming. That path, I didn't just write it. I walked it these past 7 months. I had to remember who I was under all the roles I was playing. I had to reckon with the fact that my body needed more care than my calendar was giving it. I had to reclaim the permission to not be okay and still believe I was enough. And now I'm here in the becoming, which feels a lot like showing up with shaky hands and pressing record anyway. Here's what the research and the wisdom both say, and what I believe with everything in me. Resilience is not the absence of falling. It's the practice of returning. And you don't have to return the same way you left. You're allowed to return softer, slower, more honest, more you. Let's take a moment together, wherever you are right now, in your car, on a walk, in the quiet of your day. Give yourself just a little space. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, soften the place behind your eyes. Breathe in for every season you kept going when it was hard. And breathe out the pressure to have it all figured out. One more breath. This one is just for you. Not for anyone you're taking care of, not for the list, not for the inbox, just for you. You are allowed to begin again as many times as you need to, and every single time counts. This week, I want to leave you with this. Wherever you are in your own season right now, whether you're in the thick of something hard or just emerging from it or finally feeling ready to begin again, you are not behind. You are not broken, and you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience, from wisdom, from a version of yourself that has already survived everything you thought might break you. And I want to hear from you. As we move into this new season of the Courageous Exchange, I want these episodes to meet you where you actually are. What are you sitting with right now? What question keeps finding you at the end of the day? What leadership moment in work or in life do you wish someone would just talk about honestly? Send it to me, DM me, leave a comment, reach out. This exchange has always been exactly that, an exchange, and your voice belongs in it. Here are this week's gentle invitations. Name where you are, not where you think you should be, where you actually are. Say it out loud or write it down. Naming is the first act of courage. Give the pause a new name. Think of a time you stopped by choice or by force. What did that season teach you that moving fast never could? Identify your beginning again moment. What have you been waiting to return to? Your health? A relationship? A creative project? A version of yourself? What would one small step back look like? Release the comparison. You are not returning to who you were before. You are arriving as someone who knows more, feels more, and has survived more. That is not a setback. I call that my superpower. Affirm yourself out loud. Try this. I am allowed to begin again, and this time I begin with everything I've already learned. If this episode found you in the middle of your own beginning, I'm so glad it did. You are not alone in this. You are not too late, and you are more ready than you think. If this resonated, share it with someone who might be in the middle of their own pause. Sometimes we don't need advice. We just need someone to say, I see you. Keep going. Until next time, be kind to your mind and bold with your heart.